Thank you for the warm introduction. So today's topic is, as explained by him, is sales and marketing strategies positioning for success in 2024. Before we start, I would like to put some things across that during we have all have been during our sales situation that there is something which we have gone through. Every time we get into a sales, we expect some sort of behavior from the customers. Sometimes the behavior is in our favor and sometimes it is not. Mostly the behavior of sales depends upon the purpose. Let me make it easy for you. Have you considered even buying a phone from Dell? No, right? But we do it every day. Apple being the classic example for the same, which again defines that the purpose of computer making company like Apple is more correlatable than Dell. That's why we are comfortable in buying Apple phones, Apple TV, music player, while Apple is also a computer making company. Same happened in the real estate over a period of time. Pre-COVID, it was CFOs who would define the real estate take-up purely from the economic point of view. That's when the alternative workplace strategy started happening. The logic of 100 square feet per person got reduced to 80, purely to manage the economics around the real estate. Take two, COVID, where the purpose changed from economic to the survivability. So people started understanding that the purpose of having office can change and working from home become an essential. While your per square feet area reduced further, but you have to carve out area at home, which became the workplace area. Today, all residential places are being planned with the thought of dedicated workplace. So the sales today happen in the way where you would want to have a purpose pertaining to the health environment at the workplace and a dedicated workplace area at home. There are many interesting marketing and sales touch points which we would like to discuss today. For the same, I would open the panel for the discussion and start with Abhishek to let us know his inputs on how has the landscape of sales and marketing changed in the past year, and what key trends do you foresee shaping the strategies in 2024?
Thank you, Deepak. Hello, everyone. Glad to be part of this event. I'm also glad that the market, as we see, not just from last 2-3 years, but rather from the last 10 years, has been moving from a typical generalist approach to a specialist approach. See, we need to look at from strategy perspective, not just as a bookish term, but in practical world. Whom are we targeting? Our typical buyer is Gen X, millennial, as well as a Gen Z. So typically, you're from your 80s to your 20s, right from a decision maker to an influencer. So the market is moving at a rapid pace, and so is the expectations of the clients. Customer behavior and their impact on the product planning, market research, as well as the sales strategy has become very, very important. The way we see, as I said, that market is moving from a generalist to a specialist role. A lot of developers now trying to define their niche and see that which kind of segment they want to cater to. Similarly, in our segment, whether it is a mandate partner or other service provider, they are looking at customer persona and designing product as per the requirement. Coming to the market and the change which it has seen in the last 3-4 years, especially post COVID, is that customer choice has been evolving very fast. The strategy or the product which was working just barely 6 months back, it has evolved. It is changing. What was working in a typical Balewadi market was working also in Kharadi market, but now the product and the sales strategy is right from a copy paste model is moving to a more original approach, is what I see. And similarly, a lot of trends are also coming in place. I would not want to comment on the tech which is yet in the nascent stage, whether it is artificial intelligence or ML or There is a lot of buzzword around it, but I see that it has been implemented in the developed markets, probably a market like Dubai. So it has been implemented well, but I would want to focus more on the fundamentals. Fundamentals being the nature of real estate industry is such that we are selling product, but at the same time, services, is an important aspect. So, and that's what forms the crux of customer experience. Our customer today is very, very, savvy. He's traveled. If you look at the segments, customer segments from Gen Z, Gen X to millennials, they are aspirational, they are choosy. At the same time, they are connected and they are demanding. So, right from a product planning perspective to sales strategy, this psychology plays a very important role, and we need to segment the customer properly. The customer segmentation becomes very, very important. And similarly, data-driven decision making also is very crucial. How you are analyzing the customer behavior right from a lead gen to post sales typically, and as well as the from services aspect of it, the hospitality part has become very, very important. We are seeing a lot of better sales office coming in place, whether it is Pune as a market or other markets like Bangalore, Mumbai, where we see better sales office, and we are not calling it sales office, we are calling it experience center. There's a reason we are calling that. So that plays a very, very important role, because fundamentally customer is buying a product, but service aspect becomes very, very crucial. How he feels about the product when he sees a teaser, when he sees the revealer, when he discover about the product on a digital platform, and when he actually enters the site. So the entire customer experience, is very, very crucial from that perspective. I would also want to highlight on the lot of small tech aspect. Maybe I see that it's also moving from a typical approach which was there of spray and pray in the marketing side or in the sales side, and I see that it's moving from spray and pray to point and shoot approach, where I see more brilliant minds are coming, better companies are coming, better teams are coming in the sales and marketing side, and who know their customer well, who know how to target them, and that's for the betterment of the industry, because we have a lot of quality supply coming in place, especially post unified. So, and customer, as I said, is very demanding. So it's very, very imperative that the communication, the positioning, the overall experience is very, very important, and how we put the best of the product across in front of the customer is very crucial. So I feel market needs more original thinkers, and few companies are doing quite a better job. Yeah.
Great input, Abhishek. I totally agree, because since now it's a very dynamic market and things are changing from point to point. And in fact, in 6 months, but things which were working earlier, it is not currently working. And accordingly, we need to set up our target audience, and accordingly, we need to plan our strategies, and hence we can rightly position the product and other stuff. So my next question is to Akash. In this highly competitive market, how do you differentiate your brand and product services to maintain a strong positioning and stand out from the competitors?
Hi, good evening everyone, and thank you Reality Plus to make me a part of this panel discussion. To your question, Deepak, let me be very frank and more candid towards how a typical real estate company would work. First, I will go in an orthodox way. First is a vision, and then a provision to the vision, and then the acquisition of that particular vision lands you 70% of the profit. That's how a brand is differentiated. As in, if you take a first mover's advantage. There are numerous ways how Pharande spaces can be differentiated, but I would like to give you a few pointers. First is innovation. Innovation in your design language, getting more sustainable language, more sustainable products, more green efficient products, making the participants of life, as in the end user's life, more easier. making sure that there are a lot of green spaces, making sure that a lot of funding companies also are giving weightage towards the sustainability of the project. Second is more focusing on the technology, as Abhishek said. 2/3 of our population of 40, below 40 is tech savvy. And technology can be an accelerator, but it can't be a backbone. So if I say getting more tech savvy products, making more smarter homes, making more sustainable smarter homes, for next generation, I believe that we should give more green corridors, more green transport, more green energy efficient homes, zero carbon footprints, those kind of homes. And I believe that you should be able to give more privatized marketing experience. Like rightly said, we cannot call it in a long run that it is a sales process. It's more of a service oriented process. I believe that if you are able to generate marketing campaigns which are more personalized to a particular audience or to a particular customer, then you'll be able to differentiate between your brand and another brand. And lastly, I would believe that more participation from the customer in terms of discussion, like rightly said, if we are able to understand the psyche of the customer and able to deliver the right product irrespective to the time, we'll be able to make a lot of understanding in terms of how the real estate or a typical Pharande spaces product would work. We always make sure that we have a better product every time. Thank you.
Great input, Akash. Rightly mentioned, first understanding the purpose of the client or customer end user and accordingly designing the product around it. More since the world is going towards both green building and sustainability part and including in your new development, that makes a lot of difference because today each and every person is demanding that, and since you are understanding that and taking the feedback from the market and accordingly designing the new product, that makes a lot of difference. So my next question is to Rahul. So as data analytics and AI continue to play a significant role in decision making and processes, how are you leveraging these technologies to optimize the sales and marketing strategy efforts and drive business growth?
Yeah, I think I'd like to borrow a few points from Akash and Abhishek. I really loved when he mentioned point and shoot rather than spray and pray. I think that is something which is extremely important. I'll just give you a small example. So we work with a developer in Haridwar. How many bookings do you think come from Uttarakhand? Just a random guess. 0. None of the bookings are coming from Uttarakhand. This developer is selling a 3 BHK apartment in Haridwar for 2.5 crores and the entire inventory is sold out. And these are 100 apartments we are talking about, right? So when you're pointing and shooting and you're understanding where is your customer, a lot of times the product is created without thinking what is going to be the target audience of this particular product. And a lot of time developers are not able to demand a premium and then they are undercutting themselves thinking that, okay, we just have to get out of it, right? So I think pointing and shooting doesn't start after the project is being created. It starts right from how are you doing your market research, how are you connecting with your customers, brokers, and everybody else. So what we ended up creating, Propacity is primarily a platform for developers as well as brokers. Primarily brokers use our platform called the Propacity Plus, which is, think of it more like a YouTube or an academy for real estate. I come from an education background as well, so I thought of bringing my edtech knowledge into real estate because I ended up realizing यार हर ब्रोकर वही बेच रहा है और इन ब्रोकरों को खतरा एक दूसरे से नहीं है बट उस ब्रोकर से जो आने वाला है. So if we could create a massive breed of brokers which are educated and are ready for tomorrow and are future proof, we would be able to create an audience which can serve the customers much better. At the same time, while the idea was to create a breed of brokers which are serving the customers better, we ended up realizing that it is also becoming a data platform that can create great amount of insights for the developer in helping them understand where to market and what to create, right? So that is where we are using data analytics, where more than 10,000 conversations are done via these brokers on my platform. And out of these 10,000 conversations which are happening, 70% of the conversations that happen on the platform, brokers don't have the supply, right? right? So that insight becomes a very important insight, that data becomes a very important insight for the developer in order to help them create right at the product strategy level on what to create, right? And then at the same time, we ended up realizing that, okay, there is a PSU employee in Ranchi जिसका gratuity unlock हुआ है और उसको नहीं पता कि पैसा का डालना है, लेकिन या तो कृष्ण जी के पास जाना है, गंगा जी के पास जाना है. अब वहां पर डेवलपर को पता ही नहीं है कि मेरा एक कस्टमर रांची में भी बैठा है, बिहार के अंदर भी बैठा है, हैदराबाद में भी बैठा है. सो दैट इज हाउ वी आर यूजिंग डेटा एनालिटिक्स, वेयर वी आर पैकेजिंग all this data into bite-sized insights for these developers in emerging markets, as well as we work with more than about 25 developers in Pune, in basically helping them understand what is the true value, where is the target audience, and what is the target price they can potentially attain, right? So the idea of technology is just three things: help your customer improve, evolve, and scale. So the data is being used in order to helping developers as well as brokers improve, evolve, and scale, and the data continues to build upon it. When it comes to AI, there's a lot of interesting things that we are doing on the top of it. I think conversational AI has a huge scope. When it comes to real estate, it is all about sales, right? While it is about marketing, but I genuinely think marketing is still an easier puzzle to close. Sales is something that is very subjective. I might like a project, you might not like a project, you might like the other project, I might not like it. Or we might not like the project, but we might like the sales guy who is presenting and we are banking upon it, right? But how in that conversation, you can define what are the moments which are aha for the customers, right? So we are trying to create a lot of vernacular knowledge within our platform, so that while an average broker, which is not using Propacity, is closing supposedly one booking a month, how can we make sure that the broker which is using Propacity or Propacity Plus or any of our platforms is able to close far more? So Pune today is a broker-driven market, and as we are moving further, we are moving closer to the Chinese real estate economy or the US-American real estate economy. The demarcation between who is creating and who is selling is going to further divide. So sellers are going to sell, the role of the brokers is going to become even more. So when the role of the brokers is going to become even more, are the brokers of today ready for the market of tomorrow? So that is the gap that we are trying to bridge with data and AI.
Perfect input, Rahul. You rightly mentioned that instead of making a product then reaching out to your client, it's rather use the data and create and design a right product, so that then later on we can reach out to the right audience and they can take an informative decision. And with the help of this, so this is better called as a collaboration between the product designing and the tech, and then coming out with a fruitful, success stories over here. So, Nirav, next question to you is: collaboration between sales and marketing teams is crucial for success. How do you ensure alignment and synergy between these departments to achieve common goals and maximizing results?
Right. So thank you very much for having us here. Thanks, Realty Plus. So you asked me a question which is, which has been there in the real estate space since the last, years, put together. It's the eternal question it's an internal fight between sales and marketing, wherein marketing says that, hey, I generated the leads that you always wanted, you've been asking for, and then sales comes back and says that, hey, they didn't convert into site visits, and then that goes on. I mean, that's a great fight to have in an internal meeting room, but eventually it needs to be solved. So we've been working very closely with real estate developers, right, launching projects in multiple cities in India, and we've kind of dealt with this situation almost every other day. So there has been multiple things that have happened to solve this, right? So there is a fix for this problem at the platform level. There is a fix for this problem at the CRM level, and both have to be dealt with separately. So I'll first talk about platform level. What has happened is, if you look at the likes of Google or you look at Meta, right, both these platforms have launched full funnel analytics, which kind of closes the feedback loop on what happens on every lead. So Google has what is called as offline conversion tracking, which allows us to upload data, maybe through an Excel or even real time through SAP integration, wherein you can give the feedback to Google on every single lead that it generated, whether did it convert into site visit, whether it converted into a booking or not. Not only that, but you can also put in the exact booking amount or the revenue amount that lead generated. all this information goes back into Google, and then it uses all this meta information to self-optimize in a way that it can route maximum funds in the direction where the chance of return on investment is the highest. So that is the platform fix that I was talking about, wherein if you look at Google, even Facebook, right, they call it CAPI. Basically it's the same thing, wherein you feed the response back into the advertising platform on what happened on every single inquiry that it generated, and it will self-optimize using all the machine learnings and AIs and all these terms, right? So obviously all that is abstracted out from the user, but back then, in the system, they use all these things to kind of build the build the customer profile that is having the maximum probability of buying a product, right? So this is the platform level fix. What has also happened is at the CRM level, right, when there is a lead that comes through, developers over time have been able to implement CRMs more effectively. What I have observed is, say, 10 years before now, number of CRM implementations in the market were pretty much similar to what is right now in terms of how many CRMs they would buy. But implementation wise, the implementation success, if you look at that, I have seen that significantly increasing over the last year or two. That is because the developers have been investing into technology, investing into tech aware talent, which means they've started building their internal IT teams, internal implementation teams. They have given that kind of value that it deserves, right? In terms of coming up with a framework, coming up with a system of how everything can be automated using software. So in the world of software, buying software is very easy, but implementing it is super difficult. So developers will be able to kind of resonate with that thought that if you look at a typical cocktail conversation between two developers, one is telling the other that, hey, I'm on SAP. And the other guy goes back and says that, hey, why am I not on SAP? And then all that everybody's on SAP, but then no one talks about implementing it well, right? So anyway, so as I'm saying, it's an evolving field where I have seen increasing participation by developers into automation, into, trackability. So that kind of, answers the question as to it has happened. The fix has not only happened at the platform level, but has also happened in the world of implementation and all of that. Just one addition here from my end is that what we've seen is that the market is changing drastically, which means that the entire market, even if you look at FMCG, you look at apparel, you look at any market, everyone wants to now only buy branded products. Even my helper in my house wants to put Asian paints in his house. So now that entire category of going in for a tier 2, tier 3 brand is going out of the head of the prospective buyer. Okay, because of that, developers are understanding that and kind of upping the entire game of building their own brand effectively. And when you talk about building their own brand, they are thinking investing. And when a developer thinks about investing into the own brand, he also comes into the mindset of investment into the brand, into the future. And therefore he invests in technology also. Because of this entire approach, we are seeing the entire unorganized segment of real estate is slowly getting organized. And that is where again trackability comes into the picture.
Great. Great input, Nirav. You rightly mentioned earlier, marketing sales were like opposite directions. However, they should go hand in hand. The way once the marketing is done, there is a lot of inquiries or walk-ins happening. However, if there is not a right feedback mechanism in place, the marketing strategy is not felt right. With the use of technology and implementing it, and as the developers are also making it a point that they implement and make it a full utilization of the same. Hence, we are getting a lot of positive result, and now the success story is going towards a different direction altogether. Nitin, next question is for you. With the rise of digital platform and technologies, what innovative approaches have you implemented or observed in sales and marketing to adapt to evolving consumer behaviors?
It's working. Yeah. digital platform is going to play a major role. First of all, real estate nowadays is not to be sold, it's to be marketed well. And what better than the digital platform? You actually can provide a better platform for a product to market, okay, in a right manner to reach to the larger audience. Today, if you see, most of the developer marketing strategies, or rather hoardings or whatever that they're displaying, you see only buildings on the board. You see configurations on the board, and you see pricing on the board. There's no concept on the board. There's so much to talk when it comes to the marketing, when it comes to the digital marketing also. Right from the day one, when you define a thought, you're actually defining an entire digital platform for you. Developer actually have to make a most of the use of this platform. I've seen a conservative approach in developers spending, or any agencies for that reason, or any channel partners who are the stakeholders for any real estate today, spending very conservatively as far as digital is concerned. Right from the day one, where you actually define a project on what to talk about project, there is so much to talk about project. For example, you talk about why that location, why that configuration, why that space, why this, go and so on and so forth. The project is not getting over in 1 month. Okay, not even a single project is going to get over in 1 month. Every launch project also goes into the sustenance, and you have to talk about the project for quite a longer time. So what that communication that any developer want to put in the market for that specific project of his, which is his baby, and he's nurturing it so well, right from the conceptualization stage to the permission stage and everything. And when it comes to the end product, they have to market it so passionately rather than just showing that building on the board. Okay, the concept has to be there. The digital concept has to be there. Today, the way we have reached to a lot of people's phone, but we are not actually making a specific attempt to stay there. Look at your screen time, how much it is. If you scroll, you're staying there for a second, not even a second sometimes. Okay. So what is the screen time that you're getting? Then how you actually should plan your digital calendar, that matters the most. Okay. So if we market the project today for any developer being a mandate firm, we have to make sure that we have to be on that social platform for how many days. Okay, that calendar has to be planned today, on day one of any month, that I want to be there with this project on every platform, be it LinkedIn, be it Facebook, be it Insta, okay, at least 9 times, 10 times a month. Okay, then only you're actually registering your project. Otherwise, there is so much content on digital platform today that how are you going to register your project in such a beautiful manner that you want to, that you're actually making that project with so much passion, and you're actually spending very conservative when it comes to the digital. I have seen developers are only creating presence and not going ahead with anything else, okay, as far as the project is concerned. There's a lot of scope in the mindset of every one of us here, okay, to grow digitally. It's a big platform. If you actually grow right, you're actually reaching to a right set of audience. Rightly, he said, where is your audience? Okay. I'm saying, who's your audience? Okay. Your audience is practically everywhere. Okay. If you are targeting that budget segment, which Ranjit sir said some time back, your average tickets at Pune, even till today, it's 63 lakh rupees on an average. Your buyer is practically everywhere. Okay. You just have to find the right buyer. Okay. And you have to find the right audience. All those data specific things as far as consumer behavior, or where the consumer is coming from, which location is coming from, that we have done. Everybody is doing that. But are we making a conscious attempt to basically be there consistently in a subconscious mind, and basically time it right to be there so that people notice you, create a content where people can actually notice you, wow, this is the content that I want, my eyes are sticking to this concept. Okay, I just want to display the building in 100 buildings more. Okay, that's the power that the digital keeps today. And there are a lot of micros that we have to do, and we have to make a conscious effort to basically follow this, and we should follow this. This is going to give you a great result. In what form it is helping your stakeholders, you can't measure in digital. Okay, it is actually helping CPs, the kind of work that we do. Okay. They're actually getting leads there, sitting there, because the kind of work we have done as far as our presence is concerned in the minds and in the phones of the people and on the screen of the people. It is getting an impact. It will give you result. But it is very difficult to measure that result when it comes to the digital. Okay, so you basically, any budget that we form as far as marketing is concerned, I think there has to be a categoric budget to be formed by everyone, okay, to basically get that digital platform active and running. Thank you.
Great input, Nitin. You rightly mentioned there's a dynamic market shift from we used to see hoardings and newspaper advertisements earlier. Now, and we used to wait for a client to come out and then see that advertisements of ours. But now, practically, the time has changed, and every user has got a phone in their hand. It is how we can reach out to them and how we can make an impact on their subconscious mind for them to stay on that screen for a while, so that they can look at our product, what we have actually invested. The developers, they have invested so much of time, energy in creating the child and then develop. And accordingly, that kind of input, if they are putting in the digital marketing, that will create a lot of difference, and that conversion will start happening. So, Kishan, next question to you is, with increasing emphasis on the sustainability and corporate social responsibility, how can sales and marketing strategies be aligned with these values to enhance brand reputation and appeal to conscious consumers?
Thanks, Deepak. Before I answer your question, it is very important to introduce Magicrete to everyone. Magicrete is the leading manufacturer for AAC block, having 6 plants at 5 different locations with the annual capacity of 15 lakh cubic meter. The core product for Magicrete is the AAC block, which is autoclaved aerated concrete block, which is a replacement of red clay brick in the market. Magicrete has been very, very instrumental in developing this AAC industry in last 15 years. 15 years back, I remember there were only 3 plants in the country and 1 was owned by Magicrete. Today there are 150 plants and 6 are owned by Magicrete. So now coming back to your questions and aligning sales and marketing with the sustainability, the future is for green, sustainable and eco-friendly product. The Gen Z is very, very conscious, and they are probably supporting usage of sustainable products because that is the way they find at least they are contributing something to the society. Now, talking about AAC as a product, this has got many merits over red clay brick, but 3 things I would like to talk. One is the carbon footprint. This is not a carbon neutral product. This is a carbon negative product. Once it is installed, it absorbs the carbon from the atmosphere. So, a building supports for that. The second one is a national waste fly ash, which is being consumed because 70% of this is raw material is the fly ash. And the third one is the energy efficiency, and any building which is constructed with AAC block will be more energy efficient. And just a data point to share with each one of you is, any building which is constructed with AC blocks will have a 30% less electricity consumption. Another important thing is, red clay brick, which is the closest competitor for AAC block, which uses the top fertile soil of the land. In last 15 years, Magicrete has sold 6 million cubic meter of AAC block, which has saved the fertile soil of the land equivalent to the Mumbai city size. So we do a lot of online activity. We educate our prospective customers, consumers on green sustainability of products. We do a lot of digital drives so that whenever they want to make a decision, they know which is the right product, which is the right brand. And of course, very, very important is whenever Magicrete talks, we talk high about, we emphasize on our product positioning so that our consumers and the prospects know what is the right product and what is the right brand to be used.
Thanks, Kishan. I think you have managed in a pretty decent way how the market is perceiving and how the market is moving towards the sustainability part. and you have actually developed a product, and you are actually a sustainable provider of product, so that you are not utilizing the resources of the land, and you are doing a lot of recycling. So my next question is to Abhishek, and keeping the time frame in our mind, so we'll quickly give 2 minutes for these questions. With the growing importance of customers' experience, how do you integrate feedback mechanism and customer insights into your sales and marketing strategies to enhance satisfaction and loyalty?
So I think before satisfaction and loyalty, I think as a business, we need to look at product development also. So I think these reviews, these feedbacks also help in product development. At Sellability, we have been working closely with a lot of architects and developers in evolving the product, what kind of product to come up with. And recent examples I can give you is that, one of the project we were doing in Balewadi, and we realized that, okay, not this size, but rather that size, or not this amenity, but rather that amenity will play a better role in closing the deal as far as sales is concerned. So, and this was the feedback we got from our customers in the first project that we were doing. And we saw massive success, when it came to the right sizing, pricing, and packaging with our second project when we came up. Feedback can take several forms, right from the market research, primary and secondary research data, which some is available in the market, some is not. Then the reviews of your VDNB customer, the visit done not booked customers, the reviews of your booked customers, what they liked, what they did not like, and things like that. It also helps in training the team, better employee engagement as far as satisfaction is concerned, because ultimately in our sector in services, the sales team is the front face who are dealing with the customers. So getting the right reviews, getting the right feedback from the customers, sales team plays a very, very crucial role in that. And it has direct impact right from product development, or as you said, satisfaction, or driving loyalty, or the upsell which we do in the overall life cycle. As far as real estate is concerned, I still feel that we are an evolving industry, not that organized, but I think change is happening for better. So as far as other industry counterparts are concerned, probably a more evolved industries like FMCG, or maybe e-commerce, or industries like that. So we can always look at how the better processes in terms of what can be implemented in the sales and marketing life cycle overall. So yeah, that's it from my side.
Thank you, Abhishek. It is rightly said, taking a feedback, utilizing into the next product, understanding what we are doing right and what we are not doing right, and fixing that makes a lot of major role. So Akash, coming back to you, with the growing importance of personalized experience, how do you tailor sales and marketing strategies to cater to individual preferences and enhance customer engagement?
Like everybody has been speaking regarding data, I guess data is going to be the next currency. Data is the most important thing. That's where you see the billionaires of the world. So as I said, you need to have a right marketing team who can understand data analytics, who can understand the penetration of data to create a personalized experience through the digital platform to every target audience, but yet providing them the service which is required in terms of how the site visit is done, how they should showcase the project, what is your viewing time in terms of experience of the project. And I believe that once the site visit is done, it's more about the experience a person would receive at the end. For an example, everybody going to a Taj facility or a Hyatt facility, he will remember the entire experience. So the experience provided right from the door of the site, as in right from the Darban till the CRM exit or the key handed over, should be a world-class experience. Another part, if you need to focus on, is making sure that every customer who is coming to your site receives the same amount of respect. rather than differentiating. So a person who is buying an Apple or an aspirant person who is buying an Apple should get the same amount of experience. That's the reason Apple has been able to place itself in one of the top earning companies across the globe. So I believe that personalized experience will only come through the service, through the experience a person could have on site visit, and how are you able to showcase your brand in terms of personalized connect or the EQ, emotional quotient a person or a seller would play in that. I believe that's sufficient.
Yeah. Thank you, Akash. You rightly mentioned it is not experience of one time, but again and again, time and again, till the time we deliver the product. Because real estate, it takes longer time from starting of the project till the delivery. So every time experience makes a lot of difference. So Rahul, coming back to you, could you share the distinctive sales and marketing strategies you have implemented when working with the developers in emerging tier 2 and 3 markets to accelerate sales? Additionally, how are you aiding them to utilize technology its full potential? Could you be a little crisp on this?
Yes, sure. यार मुझे लगता है कि डेवलपर्स का रोल इन दी कंट्रीज इकोनॉमी सुपर अंडररेटेड. मतलब व्हेन वी हैव टू, आई थिंक दे आर ऑलवेज इन अ कनंड्रम ऑन how much risk can they take on their personal reputation, right? I cannot imagine a Gurgaon without DLF. I cannot imagine a Pune without Magarpatta. I cannot imagine a Bombay without Hiranandani. And you cannot imagine the ripple that happened because those people built those cities, right? मतलब आज अगर मैं दिल्ली रहता हूँ, ठीक है, and my dad is a typical Lala. We come from a steel background, right? And he has been a small-time developer in Sonipat, and I've seen Sonipat growing in front of my eyes because of the developers that put so much money in building that place, right? And today वो कहते हैं ना कि यार जब सक्सेस स्टोरी बन जाती है, हाईवे आ जाता है, तो कहते हैं कि यार यही मार्केट थी, बट तुम्हें नहीं पता 40 साल से वहाँ पे कौन बना रहा था, राइट? सो व्हेन इट कम्स टू दीज टियर 2 टियर 3 मार्केट्स ना, आवर ड्रीम इज वेरी सिंपल. वी जस्ट वांट टू गिव these tier 2 tier 3 developers what tier 1 developers already have, which is great access to good positioning, good technology and good distribution, right? So what we have been, जैसे मतलब, so the word Propacity comes from property plus velocity. We say we add velocity to property by simplifying real estate for you. और real estate इन तीन चीज़ों का ही component है. Like if you look at, like our vision is to make as many KP things as we possibly can in more than 100 plus cities across the country. If we are able to do that, we are super successful. So on the positioning front, we try to make sure कि हम लाला जी के साथ बैठकर we help them understand how can you create a beautiful story and how can you position it in front of the right target audience. Also figuring out who is the target audience. Now, when we have created the CRM or the entire solution that helps a developer with the pre-sales, post-sales and everything, that CRM gets deployed in their ecosystem in just 24 hours. And we have a team size of 0 support people. मतलब we have tried to eliminate the learning curve as much as we can. मतलब मुझे लगता है दुनिया का best product still is Excel sheet. अब how can you make sure that you are not eliminating the non-learning curve that lies in an Excel sheet and you're able to replicate that efficiency with your product is the game. So we are trying to make that possible with the technology that we are creating. When it comes to distribution, it is very simple. Just educate the brokers from the developers end on what they are expecting. Try to bridge the gap between both the parties and create a common resource pool through which they can understand how they can amplify the developer's product to the right masses. So that is essentially what we are trying to create. We are still very early in our journey, but we have seen a lot of success in more than about 10 plus cities, including Dapoli, Dholera, Haridwar, Vrindavan, Ludhiana, where we are working with a lot of tier 1 and tier 2 developers. Also Pune, Delhi, Bombay. But the thing remains the constant. How can you make everything super fast, super easy, and extremely deployable on the positioning side, technology, as well as distribution?
Thank you, Rahul. It is I can relate to it, and we can definitely say where there is a success story and where the failures are, you need not repeat it. It's better you learn from other mistakes and success story and implement it at your level. So Nirav, coming back to you, in a digitally connected world, how do you strike a balance between online and offline channels in your sales and marketing mix to reach and engage with the diverse audience effectively?
Right. So offline and online, we all know that the user behavior, right, is continuously evolving. The user of today, for all you know, if he's passing in his car from, by the side of a hoarding, he's not looking at the hoarding, but looking at a reel on his phone. So typically that is how the market has evolved, which does not mean that having a hoarding doesn't make sense. It makes a lot of sense, because this brings us back to what we call as a typical marketing funnel. It is the top funnel which spreads awareness, right? It is the mid funnel that drives consideration, and then it is a low funnel that eventually drive leads and site visits. Now, what has happened is originally, right, developers over the last 5 to 7 years or so only used to operate in the low funnel. I have a launch, I'll start thinking, say, T minus 45, and I'll just put all my eggs in that basket and go for the launch, which means I will start running ads on Google, I will put some front page jackets on newspapers, and I'll take all the hoardings and go for it. But now what has happened is that developers have slowly started changing to full funnel approach, which means that they start 3 months before, they launch a teaser, followed by they launching influencer-led campaigns in the mid funnel on Instagram, social media, and finally then, doing low funnel performance marketing in the lower funnel. So, both online and offline have a good interplay together is what I would say. But then developers have to crack the code by going full funnel in their marketing campaigns.
Thank you, Nirav. I think you rightly mentioned that it is more important is how your marketing mix is doing, of including offline and online. Because if somebody is driving and sees attractive hoarding, and he can definitely go back to his mobile and check that product and about that information. Coming back to Nitin, in light of the global events and economic uncertainties, how do you approach risk management and adapt sales and marketing strategies to mitigate potential challenges while seizing opportunities in the market?
Global economic uncertainties, I think Pune is little away. More of a salaried market, honestly. But yes, sizing, pricing does matter. Okay, the what developer is making today, okay, and the kind of demand there is in the market has to match. After Unified, especially in the first panel that we've discussed, a lot of FSI available, and a lot of confusion also because of this. The developer will 100% obviously trying to attempt to utilize the FSI that he has. And in the process, what is happening is, there's a demand for 1100 square feet house, and you'll end up in making 1400 square feet house. That's exactly what is happening in the market right now. There's a mismatch. The same mismatch has happened in Mumbai in 2007, 2008. And the stock lasting till today in South Bombay. We are heading the same way. Unfortunately, the same situation, I see it happening here. Who's your buyer? In Pune, 90% buyer is a salaried buyer. How much of this buyer has a second source of income? I mean, most of you are here salaried people. How many of you have a second source of income? No. Last 1 year, what happened is, we discussed in the first panel again, 6.5% interest rate has gone to 9%. What happened because of that? Because of that, the affordability, the eligibility of the buyer has come down, the home loan eligibility, because your 90% buyer is obviously tend to go for a home loan. Then the price gone dynamic in last 1 year. There's an increase in absolutely 1,000 rupees per square feet. In terms, if you want to measure any location, okay, it's 1,000 rupees per square feet, which has actually increased across. What happened because of that is affordability has gone down. There's a still huge demand that we were suggesting developer a year back that make a 3-bedroom, okay. And suddenly because of this, there are still 3-bedroom buyer in the market, but not buying and attempting to buy a 2-bedroom because his budget permits that much. When his budget is going to increase because of he's a salaried guy, is only on his appraisal. What we are seeing in appraisal, where your 90% buyer is basically IT driven in across east and west market, barring few markets in Pune, is there's a rumor in the market that you are getting 3 to 5% appraisal. Okay, that's what we are hearing about. Where are we going here? Nowhere. A developer scared. Finally, the end user, who's your end user? Your end user is that buyer who's going to buy. And affordability mismatch is definitely happening. No developer is going to leave the FSI waste. He's going to attempt it for sure. There's a tricky situation because Pune operates at a certain market price point and makes it very difficult for a developer to decide whether to go for 17-story building or actually go for 25-story building. Okay, to save on to everything. And it is there. That confusion is there. That confusion is persist. We have to be very, very careful which line we are trading, because at the end of the day, whatever that you are making, you have to understand your buyer and make it. Otherwise, there will be a definite mismatch happening. Okay, that's not called a economic or global slowdown. It is a man-made mistake. Trust me, there are buyers in the market. There are huge walk-ins in the market. Okay, we are practically receiving in PCMC market around 700 walk-ins a month, and that's a huge number, and it's not dropping at all. Okay, there are buyers not getting a right product because of the affordability, because of the price rise. But price rise is practical. Lot of things have changed. Land costs have changed. We've discussed that. And people have to understand. Obviously, the price will get absorbed. But it will take time in a market like Pune because it's a salaried market. It takes 6 to 8 months time for the price to get absorbed. Because these buyers are going to go with such a huge supply in the market, going to go to the competition, check every pricing. And now once they understand, okay, pricing have completely changed, then only they're going to come and buy a right product. And that suits them. Otherwise, there's a confusion. That takes time. That takes a little bit of absorption time that is required. Okay, market like Bombay, this absorption time is very little. And it gets absorbed in practically 1.5 to 2 months, and the people move on and they accept the reality. Boss, this is going to happen like this. Mumbai is the most expensive real estate market. I mean, next building and your building will have a 5,000 rupees per square feet rate change in Bombay. That is not happening in Pune, at least here. Okay, but that is how the market is behaving right now. And this is the practicality of the market. We are on the ground level. We know what customer is saying, what customer wants. We are facing so many customers every month. Okay, we have a real-time feedback. Somebody has to listen to this and work on it. Trust me, there's no economic global slowdown.
So it is rightly mentioned that we have to work on the feedback mechanism and put it into implementation for the next product development. Right. Quickly coming back to Kishan, what strategies do you employ to continuously evaluate and refine your sales and marketing approaches, ensuring adaptability and agility in response to changing market dynamics? If you can quickly cover this up in minutes time. Sorry.
Sure, I'll try to wrap up as early as possible.
Yeah.
Adaptability and agility in this dynamically changing times become very, very crucial. So Magicrete's approach is very, very simple. We do a lot of market research, competitor analysis, and we do a lot of analysis on demand and supply. Second thing is we collaborate with the influencers, which are architects, PMCs, contractors, and masons. Another thing, which we actively do and, very often is collective feedback from the users of our product, not only for AAC, for other products as well. We do a lot of online activity, as I told earlier in my previous question also. To have a broader reach to the to the larger target audience. Another very, very important thing which we do is we analyze and optimize our supply chain so that we can have a best in class production and the timely delivery. And one very unique thing which only Magicrete offers in the market is the value added services. So 2 services which we offer to our clients is mason trainings, where we train masons how to install the product, what is the right way. We have a 10-pointer guideline which we have already derived and created out of our 15 years of experience. And second is, after a delayed impact, after few weeks, my technician goes there and evaluates and audits the site whether the installation is being done the right way or not. So probably these are some of the techniques we have been using.
Thank you. Thank you, Kishan. I would like to conclude this discussion with input from your inputs received from you. Is like understanding the what purpose. So basis understanding the what market is asking for, what kind of a right size of product is required, using the effective feedback mechanism, and putting those things right into strategy in the product making, and right product and marketing mix is very much important. In the end, sales experience for our end user is should be excellent from start till the end. That will make a lot of difference during the entire year and for any success story from the sales point of view. Thank you very much.
Please चालू कर दीजिए वरना my voice is anyway loud, I believe. Oh, thank you so much. That means so much. But ये चालू कर दीजिए please, huh? Is it on? Is it on? I don't think so. It's on. This is without the mic and this is with the mic. Same. Hello. Thank you. Abhi sunai de raha hai proper? Fantastic. Thank you so much. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up once again for all of them. Thank you so much. It's all about insightful conversations and discussions as well, but I'm pretty sure when we hear that, we also have certain questions in mind, right? Jo apne aap wahan pe aata hai, and we want to get answers to that as well, of course. So does anybody have any question over here? Please raise your hands. We have a bandwidth of 3 questions because we also have time. But I think sir over here and sir over here as well has a question. Can I please request somebody to pass the mic? ये चल रहा है? हेलो? मैं खुद ही आ जाता हूँ, कोई बात नहीं सर. Please direct your question to the concerned person and.
Okay. I don't know who I should ask the question, but I'll ask Mr. Pharande this question. See, we all compete amongst each other in campaigns, developer to developer or the sole selling agency to the sole selling agency. But we never compare ourselves with other lines of business. For example, if there's a campaign going on by an automobile company, and which is supposed to be one of the best sales campaign or booking campaign, we don't compare with them. But I have an instance when somebody has done it in real estate, and I like to make it a little more interactive. Can anybody guess in 1 minute how many apartments can have the person? Sir, except Mr. Thakkar, you don't tell me. You know it. You know the person, yeah? Yeah, except Mr. Thakkar, yeah? So can you tell me in 1 minute how many apartments a person from Pune himself has booked? Can anybody tell me in 1 minute? In 1 minute. And that is the time when XUV was launched, at the same time. Because he wanted to indirectly compete with XUV. But XUV only took a booking amount. He booked them as apartment, because we can't take the booking amounts in RERA. There's no RERA for automobile, fortunately, unfortunately. That's the second part. But can anybody guess in 1 minute how many apartments somebody must have booked with money? In 1 minute. In 1 minute. Okay, okay. Yeah, only at one location, and that too in Pune, not outside Pune. Yeah? Okay, I think you are quite close, because he has booked in 20 seconds, leave a minute, 55 apartments, he has booked it, and that too in front of the media. And somebody from Pune.
Thank you. Huh?
So, but my question again.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to know the question.
So, are we not looking at some campaigns like this, which are so well talked of, amongst ourselves? So that is my question.
If you are complete, yeah. I would like to take back us to when Volkswagen was launched in Pune. If everybody remembers that campaign, there was a hoarding on COEP. There was a front page ad. That is one of the most icon-breaking advertisement which I've seen. My personal experience when we had launched one of our projects, it was almost similar. Innovations can be driven from the fellow or maybe fellow industry. Like automobile has a lot of regular, a lot of entry barriers. Like real estate, everybody can enter into real estate. Post-RERA, it has been difficult. But automobile, if you say, automobile has a lot of, advertisement regularization. If you see ads which are run by alcohol brands, those are called surrogacy ads. Nowadays, developers are also trying to run surrogacy ads by not mentioning their RERA numbers, which is not a great idea to do. But I believe that we should look external inspirations in terms of how the advertising world is changing across the globe. I don't find, if you go in Dubai, if you go in US, I don't find the advertisement which we do has the same communication channel across. The communication is very simple. Like rightly Nitin said, it is more concept driven rather than hard hitting sales. So I believe that everyone in terms of advertising platform or aggregators or let it be Google, traditional advertising, new age advertising, people should look more of concept-driven advertisement, more of connect and EQ level advertisement, and more of an evolved buyer advertisement, rather than just hard-hitting sales. That's what I believe. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for the question. Thank you, sir, for the answer as well. We'll have one more question. Thank you so much.
So actually, I was going to ask a different question, but I just want to pick up something from what the gentleman said. And my segue into that is a follow-on, which says, if I look at print and I look at most advertising on real estate, I've seen, I could change the name and do /name change and it's pretty much the same. To your point about hard hitting, what about the customer? You know, you guys and all the salespeople are the front face of who's talking to the customer. I think the comparison with automobiles, at the risk of being immodest, is apples to oranges. You've got a evolved, standardized or near standardized product, you know, with an equally standardized offering. Services led. We don't have that in real estate. Forget the product. We don't even have standards beyond, we don't have standardization of finishing items, you know. So my point is, you know, how do we bridge that? I think GST and RERA has only bridged a part of the, what I call trust deficit. You know, how does marketing and advertising and, you know, all you great people, how do you bridge that trust deficit by showing developers and people like us the mirror and saying standardize, customize, front-facing customer? You know, how do we do that?
If you don't mind, I will.
Whoever wants to take, including Abhishek, whoever wants to take that question.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like your views as well.
So, perfect question, and I kept thinking about it. So, as in the earlier discussion, I mentioned, sir, that we should take inspiration from our, you know, much more evolved counterparts, industry counterparts. Automotive could be one, and, you know, the other industries. For that, I think I definitely feel that we need better talent in real estate on the marketing side. So talent is one aspect where one can be more intelligent, you know, and for that you need to consider that your customer is also very intelligent. You know, price-driven marketing, or maybe you are right. I mean, it's so cluttered world as far as real estate marketing is concerned. सब कुछ एक जैसा ही दिखता है. तो you were right, and we also, you know, feel the same in our team. We keep discussing that how do we break that clutter, whether it is through communication, through the approach. Don't get into, you know, that typical 6-7%, 10% ROI milega, or, you know, if you talk about a commercial project, you talk about a residential project, all communications are same, almost same. With due respect, there are a few better players who are doing this, but, you know, as far as the nature of real estate industry is concerned, you know, standardization is required, and study of the product, study of the consumer, and then aligning both is important. Definitely we need much more better talent as far as advertising or marketing is concerned. At the end of the day, if you look at the typical, say, mobile phone manufacturer, you know, if you remember, one of the Chinese player came up with flash sales, you know, where the phones were, you know, getting sold out in 5-10 seconds. A similar kind of concept is, you know, is being implemented in real estate since last 2-3 years, 4 years. So look at iPhone, or look at any mobile phone or any automotive segment. So yeah, I feel that your question is bang on. We need to be more intelligent as far as our advertising is concerned, and for that, you know, better data analytics, better understanding at the grassroots level is needed, and maybe better talent moving from other industries to real estate. this will basically, help us in the long run.
Thank you so much, sir.
I hope that answers your question.
You want to add something else, sir? No, I'm asking you only, sir. No, sir.
No, nothing.
No, done. Okay. Any more questions, please, ladies and gentlemen, over here? Anybody wants to? Sir, you have a question? अच्छा आप हाथ आगे दिखा रहे हो सर, sorry. Anybody else? Any question? These are real stalwarts from the industry. We don't get them in one roof always. Huh? It's a great opportunity. Please, sure, ma'am. Here you go. Please direct your question to the concerned person and the
Yeah,
questions.
because it's a sales and marketing, it's on the developer end if you see, because there have been a lot of questions that are asked more of like, when you take on the project, it's more of a agency should be involved since, I think somebody was mentioning, since the perception like architectural and everything, you should involve the agency. So when it comes for the mandate sale or appointing a digital agency, what all parameters actually developer has to check? Because a lot of time it's experience with the developer. If you go on a mandate sale or if you go for a shortlisting digital agency, especially with digital agencies, they are on the top ranking. We go ahead we shortlist, we have a call and then we go ahead. But it totally performance of 5-6 months that decide actually ye hoga ya nahi hoga. Somebody was talking in the previous panel that digital is mandatory, you can't actually run away from it, but at the same time burning money behind the digital, just not having the result also doesn't work with the developer. So any process or checklist parameters as a developer we should put while selecting right digital or right mandate agency.
So I guess I am the only developer on the panel. To be very frank, whenever you're selecting an agency, your values with the agency should match. If your values match, your communication would be right. They understand your psyche more better than any other person who can understand. Me personally, I have worked with more than 5-6 agencies till now. Digital is one thing that, first, are they adaptive to the change in technology? Because technology cannot be permanent. It evolves every day. As we speak, there is some or the other technology update is coming in the market. Are they working on the research and development part of it? Are they aware of the new tools which are being implemented in the market? As we rely on them a lot in terms of our own basic understanding to the digital world, because they are our digital representation for the market. Secondly, I believe that they should have a common understanding for the real estate. You cannot pick an agency or you cannot have an agency which is not somehow related to the real estate. They can be a substitute industry which advertise a substitute product, but they should have a basic understanding of the customer's psyche and the real estate overall. Even including, they should understand the reforms which are coming or reforms which are ongoing. So I believe these are 2-3 points a person should look at. Basically, I believe the values should match. Values is one thing I strongly believe. In hiring any agency, a person or anything, you should have a value match up with that particular person. That's all. Thanks.